You see this? This is what it's about. West side. Oh, hey, why don't you go on Facebook Live? You got Facebook?
Yeah, go ahead.
I haven't been on Facebook in a long time, bro.
Who cares? Just put it on Facebook because there'll probably be more people watching your Facebook than my Instagram. I only got like one person on there.
Yeah, well, go ahead and put it in.
Turn on Facebook Live, man.
Who
cares? I hate Facebook.
I haven't been on Facebook in a long time,
We're not
man.
talking about your opinions on Facebook or how much you used it. I'm just saying you've been on there more than me. I guarantee that. I only got one because the Panthers are on there. So I'm just saying.
So you gonna say something about this, or I could just stop pushing record, just turn it off right now?
No, that's a routine. He even tell us what it is yet. Why would you turn it off right now?
Okay, hold on. My bad, man.
Right.
I'm anxious.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Right now? I mean, you can. I ain't tripping. I ain't shy for no camera.
Yeah, we want to show that part. We just don't want to show us like, man, but you're explaining how to do it. We want to record that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, go ahead and
If we're gonna meditate right now, just turn it off until after meditation.
I know.
All right. So this is gonna be our mantra, or should I say our heka? You know, so I don't know if you're familiar.
Like haiku, like H-E-K-A-U or different?
That's in heka. Hekau.
How you spell it?
H-E-K-A-U. Hekau.
Exact same thing.
So it's words of power, and it's also what we would consider to be mantras, right? Now, there's a Tibetan version of this too, and that's more like, this is where all right. We'll write it out twice.
This is the Black Egyptian metu neter class. We're learning metu neter language and Kemetic Black Egyptian spirituality. I gotta take a picture now before you erase that.
What does that signify? Raw or something?
Yeah.
Raw life. But that's a
ship right there?
that's a goddess, right?
It's like a ship.
Isn't that the goddess throne thing or something?
Let me go ahead and put it under the throne. Yeah, that does represent. Let me get where's that towel at? Because I just want to
see it.
See if there's a blue handkerchief over there on the yeah, go ahead and bring that blue hanky, so I can make it a little bit clearer to what it is. I don't want people.
It's 150.
Yeah, an hour and 35 minutes, which is longer than we're around, but still like too much. Yeah, next time we'll start early class. I meant to get
right?
What does it mean?
So I got Asar, but I'm gonna tell you in a minute how that works, because I didn't put the hum part. There's a reason why, because the mantra doesn't mean nothing. It's just a sound effect that you want to develop.
Like that?
Okay? Yes.
I like
So
that.
so you have Ahum. That's the Tibetan mantra, right? And basically the way you're supposed to work this mantra is that you're supposed to breathe it in, right? You got Asar, Hum. It contains the word Hu, which also often happens to be the sign of Tahuti. You know? So you notice a lot of times when you have like Muslims who are Sufi masters or Sufis, not necessarily masters, but they'll sit in church circles and they'll chant Allahu. Try not to bump that, that's a shrine.
Oh, okay.
They'll chant Allahu, hu, Allahu, hu. Or, you know, you got the Ekankar people and they'll chant Hu. That's the Huti's sound of wisdom. That activates the power of wisdom within your being, the power of the higher intuitive faculties. You have Hum, which is written, that is hidden in Hum. So you have Oser Hum. That is the actual mantra that connects you to the unity of allness. So it makes you part of the one. By chanting this particular hekal, you're actually connecting yourself with the unity of all things and the ability to become whatever you need to become at the specific time in which you need to. So Asar, we can see right here, you got the throne and you got the eye. The eye is called Ari, which means to make. And then you have the Asetron, or the As, which also means seat, which is the meaning of Isis or Aset, because she is the seat. In fact, the mother principle deals with the throne because the child sits on the lap of the mother. So the first throne of the king is actually the lap of the mother. Hence, Aset, she is the seat. And Asar, he's the maker of the seat. But without Aset, he couldn't be the ruler. He couldn't rule. So, without the queen mother, there could be no king. Kemet saw that there was always a perfect balance with everything. There was always a male, there was always a female counterpart. There wasn't no he this and he that. But there was also the dealing with she. In fact, the signs of Kemet deal with Ma'at. And Ma'at is in the form of a black African woman with her arms stretched out with the wings on it, and she's kneeling because it represents truth, has the ability to ascend, but it's grounded. So truth deals with that which is on a higher level, but when you're dealing with truth, it grounds you. If you're always dealing with falsehood, you notice that you can't get your life together because you have not established yourself in truth. In other words, you have not established who you are. So you're being jerked from place to place. Your heart is heavy. So there's a place in Kemet, there's the judgment scene where you see that the person is going before the scales, and behind the scales you see Amit, which is the soul eater, the eater of souls. But on the scales you see a heart and is next to an ostrich feather. And the heart is supposed to be as light as the feather. They're supposed to balance each other out. The heart is not supposed to outweigh the feather, because if it does, then that means it's too heavy for the person to move on to the higher stage, or what we would say immortality. So how do you get a heavy heart? You get a heavy heart by not living truth. So for instance, let's say you told a lie to your boss. Then you have to tell a whole bunch of other lies because you have to make sure that he don't find out that you wasn't telling the truth about that one. So all that weighs down on you. That makes your heart even heavier. Or you got to keep on keeping secrets because you told a lie somewhere down the line. Or you're not living up to your potential, and you're living up to somebody else's dream, but you're trying to please everybody else, but you're not living you. Then that also makes your heart heavy. So you want to make sure that you're living truth, right? If you're doing things that you know that can get you caught up, but you continue to do them, and you got to continue to stack up one layer of falsehood on top of the other. That causes the heart to become heavy. So you also have to live in accordance with divine law. Now, the whole idea of breathing and going into meditation is so that you can learn how to bring yourself into that form of relaxation and patience. Because one of the main reasons why many of us break divine law is because we're not patient enough to carry on things that need to happen. We want it now. So we live a life where everything is instant. We live in a microwave society. And because we want things and we want to rush things, we often do things that are not honest, not just towards others, but with ourselves, and things that are often not realistic because of the fact that we're anxious. When you do the breathing meditation and Hum, that also takes away that anxiety. And when you're in that state of relaxation, your auric field actually expands. You actually have an energy field around you that expands when you're in a state of relaxation. If you're in a state of anxiety, that energy field contracts. And the more it contracts, the less energy that you feel you have, and the more you're susceptible to the negative thoughts of others coming in and causing you to be other than yourself. So, if you're dealing with depression and you're in a constant state of depression and anguish, that means that your auric field is contracting. Okay? In the Yoruba tradition, we talk about those who are in what is called ire, a state of expansion, and osogbo, which is the state of contraction. So we'll know when somebody is in a state of expansion, when the diviner puts the person down, and they'll be able to throw the chain and basically have the person, juggle the stones and reveal which one is in their hand. They get the white stone, that means that they're in a state of expansion. A black one, they're in a state of contraction. It's like that.
That's Yoruba?
Yes, that's the Yoruba system. But it deals with the sciences that are germane to Ma'at and Kemetic science as well. Because it's all about living in balance, right? So in Kemet, it's called Ma'at. Balanced character in the Yoruba tradition is called Enwakwele, right? Enwakwele meaning balanced character, right? So we want to live in a balance, right? We want to live kind of in the middle. I'm not saying not make a decision, but in a place that's balanced for you. You're always going to come from a place of balance. So, breath control. Kemet, there's a word for breath, it's called nifu. But since a lot of people over here have been studying like Eastern philosophy, they may be familiar with what is called pranayama. Prana, which means the secret breath, and yama, which is dealing with control. Okay. All right.
The board.
Okay, cool. You got it?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
All right. So you're dealing with pranayama, which is breath control, right? We have to learn how to control the breath because society keeps you anxious. And when you're anxious all the time, you're going to discover something else. You're forgetful. One of the reasons why people cannot retain information is because they're forgetful. One of the reasons why people are forgetful is because they're anxious. One of the reasons why people are anxious is because they're on a timeline. Or should I say, they're on a deadline. They have to basically be at work. They have to work for the system, right, from 9 to 5, or they have to turn certain things in by certain times. And that's how they kind of keep you all balanced. So you got to find a way to maintain your balance by calming yourself down. One of the reasons why people are in anguish is because of the fact that they're anxious. So we want to calm that anxiety down. When you can calm down your anxiety and be from a place of joy, then that means you have more of an expanded auric field. Laughing and everything else, all these things help to release endorphins in your body. That causes your body to heal. When you're stressed, you release cortisol, and that causes your body to break down, or for certain things to go wrong with your organs and everything else. When you do breath control and when you're doing exercise and you're better in a more of a state of relaxation and joy, in a state where there's no internal resistance, no internal friction, then you'll be much more healthier, you have a better memory, and you'll have more energy. Okay? All right. Any questions?
Sure.
That's a lot. That's
I know.
a
That's
lot
what I'm saying.
of new stuff I never heard
I
again.
know.
Yeah.
Like the entire thing.
Yeah.
That hit me.
I'm gonna need to watch that tape a lot.
Yeah.
For real, I might even upload that after.
I'm gonna take a picture of that. I'm gonna stop. I'm about to turn this off so I can take a picture. But can you explain the AST and the seat on the side? Because I missed that because I'm trying to like do something. I missed where you drew that up there on the right side.
Right. So the symbol of the seat, that also signifies, even though that's part of Asar's name, it's also part of Aset's name. Aset means seat, or As means seat. So she is the seat, she is the throne, right? So when you're established in the seat of truth, then you're nourished by it. Aset, aka Isis, is also dealing with water. She represents the element of water. What does water do? It flows. So when you're in a stream, when you're going along with the flow, then that means that you're kind of in harmony. I'm not saying go along with the flow of everything happening out there, but you're going on the flow of your true nature, of who you are and where you're supposed to be. So Aset, she becomes Marie. Marie is where you get the word marine. The Kemetic word for love and cultivation is Mer, or Marie. So when somebody is coming together, they merge, aka they have a marriage. And she's also the patroness of water, so she becomes Mary. And this is where you get the word marine, mariner. And those who traveled the water, they'd always consult Aset first, and later on, she became the Virgin Mary, where you basically consulted her before you traveled the seas. So if you look on the hieroglyphics, or if you look at pictures of Aset, sometimes you'll notice, especially in Rav Nephraim's book, or in his card deck, you'll notice that the seat on top of her head is blue, but that deals with the water element. Also deals with the element of intuition. Because when you tap into the intuitive part of yourself, you're tapping into the Aset within you. A lot of people are severely left-brained at this point in time in their lives. And what it is that people, when they're left-brained, they can only break things down into parts. Right? They want to control everything. A lot of times, you know, mathematicians and those who are like specialists in mathematics, and I'm not saying stay away from math because it's needed, but sometimes those mathematicians who may not have balanced out the brain hemisphere become control freaks. They want to control everything. But the right brain will allow. The left brain wants to control. It says, okay, well we need to establish order. So that's where it comes into play. So both hemispheres are necessary. Aset deals with the development of memory and intuition. The word memory contains the Hebrew letter mem, which is the water element. Yeah, speaking of some water. So, I could talk days about the water element, but let's go ahead and, you know, get started in a minute with our meditation.
All right. Okay, we're going to cut video for now. Be back.